So, dear friends, Patanjali has spoken in 2.25. He spoke about that the upaya to remove the hana, that is the dukkha, which is happening because of the merging of the drishta and drishya, that drishta drishya samyoga, which is the joining of the observer and the observed. Because of that, there is dukkha. To avoid that dukkha, Patanjali says that the only upaya for that is viveka khyati. So, what is viveka? Viveka is the discriminative power of the intellect to discriminate self from non-self. Okay? So, a self-awareness, a continuous inquiry. And Patanjali says, Viveka aviplava. Aviplava means a continuity without any breakage. The awareness, the ability to watch and observe what is not me, to become aware of the avidya playing in the mind every moment. When it becomes unbroken and unblemished, then it is called as aviplava. This Viveka Khyati is considered as the upaya for the Hanam. Hanam is the dukkha that is being generated because of the samyoga of the Purusha and Prakriti, Drishta and Drishya. Now Patanjali is saying that Viveka Khyati, in a person who has reached that stage of Viveka Khyati, his pradnya, it means his buddhi, evolves through 7 end stages. So you get into pradnya, and then over a period of time you are evolving into higher and higher domain of the pradnya. So the question that I would like to ask here is, what is pradnya? Aditi has written Ritambhara Pradnya. So you can, tell in more detail. What do you think when Sanskrit word pradnya comes? What does it mean? Anyone?
Sir, intuition.
Intuition. Now this is a question. We say intuition and we say intellect. So the word pradnya, when Patanjali uses it, whether it represents intellect or it represents intuition. So first we have to also, Shabda, Arth and Jnana, we have to separate. By intellect, what is the substance behind that we are talking? And by intuition, what is the substance behind this word that we are talking? Can anybody differentiate intellect from intuition? Anyone? Yes, Shreyas, please unmute and share your views.
Yes, sir. So intellect is more about logical cognition and such things, and intuition is more about perception or what we say gut feeling. So it is beyond logic. Actually, when the thoughts come down, the intuition starts working more efficiently.
Okay. So Shreyas has very beautifully answered. He says that the intellect is still in the domain of your memory, whatever you have heard, whatever you have listened. And so intellect is logical. It can be direct, it can be indirect, but intuition, he says, is more related to something when the thought processes, the memory comes down and it comes like a flash. It is like a gut feeling. You cannot explain the logic, but it is true. So pradnya, according to Patanjali, pradnya is intellect or pradnya is intuition. Sophia, please unmute.
Sir, so I believe intellect
Louder,
is
louder.
still I'm connected to the earphones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yes.
I believe intellect still plays into the domain of the Manomaya. And if we're talking about intuition, then we're moving into the Vijnanamaya.
Okay, okay. So the the raga, dvesha that we have, the feelings that we have, where would they go? They also are in Manomaya only?
Yes.
Okay. I think Manomaya does not have the decision-making power. So it is always indecisive. Whereas when you are logically correct, you can come to decisions. So probably this is my feeling that both intellect and intuition are in Vijnanamaya, whereas intuition may go more towards Anandamaya. So Vijnana Anandamaya. Okay, but good. Now, dear friends, we are trying to understand the meaning of the word prajna according to Patanjali. So, how many of you feel that when Patanjali says prajna, he means intellect? Just raise your hand. How many of you feel that when Patanjali says prajna, he means intuition? Raise your hand. Shreyas feels it is intuition. Dr. Rama also feels the same. Others do not know. Sujata ji has written that it is intuition. Dr. Gautam says pradnya is wisdom. Another word. You don't have third choice, Gautam. Intellect or intuition. Okay, if you have another definition for pradnya, then you can unmute and share. Or Ramaji, do you want to say anything? You can share. Gautam says intellect. Gautam says intellect. Sophia wants to redefine it, cognizing consciousness. So we get many words, so cognizing consciousness, is it not buddhi? No, which we call as intellect. Fine. So we are getting some responses. Sir, I am traveling. Awareness. Rama says awareness. Pradnya is awareness. So this is the problem. We get a lot of different kind of words for the same stuff that people mean, but it is difficult to convey. Okay, Aditi, do you want to share anything? You have raised your hand, or you are saying that it is intuition. You have said it is intuition. Okay, so here, what I do is whenever I am confused about a word in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, I search other sutras where this word has come so that I get a better understanding of that word. Can anybody tell me where else pradnya has come in Patanjali Yoga Sutra? Please unmute.
There is a shloka, sutra, where where Patanjali says Virya, Prajna, and I think Samadhi.
Shraddha, Virya,
Virya.
Smriti, Pradnya, Purvak, Itaresham. Shraddha, Virya, Samadhi, Pradnya, Purvak, Itaresham. That is one sutra where Patanjali brings this domain where he says, we call it as, the Pradnya that is developing due to Shraddha, due to Smriti, due to Samadhi, due to Virya. Good. This is one sutra. Any other sutra people are aware of? I think in first chapter we see that sutra.
Ritambara Prajna.
Ritambhara tatra pradnya. That also, I think it is 1.48. Yes. So here.
Prita Anumana Pragnapyam Anya Vishaya Vishesha etc.
Which chapter are you talking about?
1.49.
Okay. So see here, let us look at these sutras So our aim is to understand the meaning of the word prajna. So he says, Ritambhara Tartar Prajna, filled with higher truth in that wisdom, knowledge. So here he says that that particular knowledge gets filled with special, higher truth, which is Ritambhara. Then when we come here to the next sutra, again, I think Prajna comes here. Here he says, Shruta Anuman Prajna Bhyam Anya Vishaya Vishesharthatvat. Here he says, by the testimony or anumana, what you have perceived or somebody has said or you have applied anumana. Through that, whatever prajna or knowledge that you have got, that is different from this special one, which is Ritambhara Prajna. So prajna has been considered as getting an insight into something. Now, this insight into a thing can come by analytical process of the buddhi, or it can come in a special way, which you said Ritambhara Prajna, which is beyond this logic of Shruta or Anumana. That is intuitive. So Prajna is neither intellect nor intuition. Prajna is the insight that comes because of intellect or intuition. Okay? So we, through reading Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we understood the meaning of the word prajna. And now we go back to the sutra to understand it further. So Patanjali is saying that when this Viveka Khyati will happen, when your discriminative power will grow, the discriminative awareness, your ability to discriminate self from non-self, Atma from Anatma, when that will grow, then you will get 7 levels of insights. In psychiatry, we talk about gaining an insight, So the insight, there is a Green's insight scale also. Now, when a patient has psychiatric illness, we categorize the insight from 0 to 4. 0 insight means patient is not even aware that he has an illness. He feels that the relatives or the friends have got him by force and he doesn't need any kind of treatment, or he thinks that they only have problem, he is completely all right. Then the insight is 0. When we say the insight level is 1, when the patient appreciates that he has some problem, but he doesn't attribute it to a mental cause. He feels that some ball hit him or some infection happened, or actually, there were circumstances or something outside is responsible for it, or something from the other planet is causing this problem, but there is problem. That is insight level 1. Then insight level 2 is when patient understands that it is a problem and attributes, that the problem is having a mental cause, and it is not something physical or something done from outside. It is from within. Then the next level of insight that comes is that patient, but still here, patient understand that it is a problem. He understand that it has a inward cause, but he is not motivated to seek any solution. Then the next level of insight comes when patient understands that I have a problem. The problem is within me. No external cause is responsible for it. And I need treatment. And if I take treatment, I feel better. And then when patient gets this kind of an insight, usually in schizophrenia and all, then patient actually feel very sad when they look back into their life and see that how many years they have wasted in their delusional thinking or their thinking patterns. So when the insight comes, people, get more and more clarity, and it brings a change in their behavior. So what is this 7 levels of insight, that Patanjali is talking about here? And these levels of insight are all the manifestations of Viveka Khyati, in higher and higher domains. So as my discriminative power is growing, as my Viveka of differentiating self from non-self is growing, I am becoming more and more self-aware. And with that awareness, I am getting some insights. And those insights are changing my behavior or making me evolve. So this is, and ultimately the purpose of all the insight is that I become completely aware of my true self. Okay. So let us look at the next sutra to understand, what are these 7 levels of insight that Patanjali wants to talk about. So it's 2.28. Okay, so Patanjali says here that Yog Ang Anushtanad Ashuddhi Kshaye Jnana Diptihi Viveka Khyatihi. So when these insights are coming to you, as the Viveka Khyati is happening, as the Viveka, the ability of discriminating self from non-self and thinning out of the kleshas and fundamentally the avidya klesha, when it is happening, at the same time, there is lightening of the lamp of the knowledge within you, which is becoming brighter and brighter. Jnana diptihi. There is a lamp of wisdom, of knowledge, of insight within you, which is becoming brighter and brighter as your abhyasa of viveka is growing day in and day out and reaching its khyati. Okay. So this knowledge is coming in 7 steps, in 7 kind of insights through Viveka. But how is it happening? Or how to get that knowledge? Yog Ang Anushtanad Ashuddhikshaye. How this insights, the layer of insights will open up to you when the covering of the mala will be removed, when the ashuddhi will undergo a kshaya, when the chitta will start getting more and more purified. So when we pray Patanjali, we says yogena chittasya. So the purity, the purification of the chitta has to happen for viveka to come, for jnana to lighten up, and then for your dukkha to end, for the heyam dukkham anagatam, for avidya kshaya, for klesha kshaya, for samadhi bhavanartha, you have to remove the ashuddhi. So Patanjali recognizes the existence of ashuddhi. So Patanjali is very clear. He's saying that avidya and the kleshas, they are manifesting in the form of 7 kinds of impurities or 7 kind of wheels. 7 प्रकार के पर्दे हैं जो आपके ज्ञान को ढके हुए हैं. There are 7 types of wheels which have covered the jnana within you, and each of these wheels is going to get removed by practice of each of the anga of the yoga. योग अंग अनुष्ठानाद अशुद्धि क्षये ज्ञान दीप्ति विवेक ख्याति ही. Patanjali is very clear. As you keep on practicing the anusthana of the yoga angas, layer by layer ashuddhi will be removed, and with removal of each layer of ashuddhi, corresponding jnana deepti will happen, which will lead to the pradnya and viveka khyati. And this pradnya is going to come up in 7 steps, because the 7 steps of ashuddhi is going to get removed by respectively each anga of the yoga. So this is so beautiful, so beautiful. So we all know what are these 8 angas, so Then Patanjali, see, Patanjali has prepared a beautiful, beautiful ground for giving the very essence of yoga. Yam niyam asan pranayam pratyahara dharana dhyana samadhi ashtavangani. These are the ashtanga I am talking about. If you do anusthana, anushthan means with lot of determination and tivrata, with abhyasa and vairagya. If you hold on to them, no matter what, jati, desh, kal, sarvabhauma mahavritam, wherever you are, whoever you are with, which time, which place, everywhere, if you follow them, then it is known as anushthan. When you do anushthan of these 8 angas, I am telling you, with each anga you will remove one layer of impurity, which will bring the lamp of wisdom, the insight, the prajna in you in 7 layers. And as the prajna and the knowledge will keep coming, you will naturally progress. You will naturally progress from one limb of yoga to another. It is not something that you have to think about and do it. You will naturally grow from yam niyam to asan, from asan to pranayam, from pranayam to pratyahar, dharana to dhyan, dhyan to samadhi. It is not something that Patanjali, got some kind of a, information directly into his head. It is something that he says, as the prajna reveals, you have no other option left. You have to grow on this path. Because as soon as the insight comes, the behavior changes. So now the question to all the bright students sitting here is, please tell me, how are these yoga ang anushthan giving you insight? What are those insights? What are those 7 pranta bhumihi prajnas that Patanjali is talking about? What will happen to you when you practice yam niyam? What will happen when you do asan? What will, what insight will bring you to asan? What insight will bring you to pranayam, pratyahar, or to the next step? This is the question. The 7 stages, Vyutthana, Nirodha, Nirvana. You have to tell me logically, Gautam, based on the logic that we are talking. I don't want information. I want your, if you have understood you. Okay, Aditi, please tell. Aditi, you have raised hand?
No, sir, it was from behind. Sorry, from before.
Okay, lower your hand. Okay, anybody else who wants to think about what are these 7 layers of insight that we are getting, through which naturally we go to the next step of yoga? So how does that previous step also give that insight? Shreyas, yes, please unmute.
Yes, sir. So I would like to speak about some yamas and niyamas. So basically, when our behavior with oneself and behavior with the society changes, automatically there arises some stability. So, for example, no, ahimsa, non-violence. So many people are violent towards others, and some people are violent towards themselves. So when we start practicing that, automatically the compassion arises. Or when we say satya, then we are authentic. So we are authentic to our thoughts and emotions. And when we accept them, then only there is a possibility that we can evolve from that. So mainly, I think yama niyamas give us more stability and more clarity in terms of thoughts and emotions.
Very beautiful answer, Shreyas. Very beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
So, with that insight, he uttered a word, stability comes. A psychological stability. a stability in my relationship with myself and my relationship with others. So in a way, I get an insight of connectedness of me with myself, connectedness of me with my surrounding. So yam and niyam are the individual and social observances. When they are followed, slowly, individual develops a harmony within him, with the surrounding, and with that harmony, he finds naturally sthiram sukham asanam. Wherever he sits, he automatically gets into asana. There is no conflict within him, there is no conflict with the people around him. He is very clear. Wherever he sits, he is sthira, he is in sukha. He starts getting into asana. So the insight that he gets is he is connected and everything is in harmony. That assurance that everything is fine. I am connected. I am not alone. So there is no anxiety, no fear. There is stability. This is the first layer of insight that comes after practicing yamas and niyamas. Then, okay, this insight naturally puts me to asana. Then what is the insight that I get when I am into asana? See, one thing very important here is everything, all the insights are for Viveka Khyati. And Viveka Khyati is for the destruction of avidya. And avidya is drishta drishya samyoga. So every insight is for separation of the drishta from the drishya. So the first insight of yama and niyama, how did it separate drishta from drishya? Whatever agitations were there within me, around me, were creating a kind of a false impression in me that I am those agitations. And I was ignoring all other aspect of my existence. I was always bothered only about my anxiety, about my fears, about my conflicts. When they are resolved, I no longer identify myself with my conflicts because those conflicts only are resolved. So in the sky, when clouds are there, it appears as if there are only clouds and there is no sky. So in the same way, yama and niyama separate drishta from drishya in terms of resolving those kind of conflicts and then make the person sit comfortably. Now, when a person has sat comfortably, after that, which kind of insight which will separate drishta from drishya will naturally make him go towards pranaya. Good, good. So, chitta vrittis are corrected. I don't know, sir. Yes, very good. So, Sophia, second insight. My question is very specific. What is the second insight, pratnya pranta bhumi, that a person is getting after practicing asana? Please answer, Sophia.
The comment was regarding the something you said previously.
Sophia, I couldn't hear you. What did you say?
I was saying, sir, that my comment was regarding something you had said previously.
Okay. Oh, fine.
I believe that we start to develop some discriminated knowledge. We begin to see the temporary nature of our emotions, our thoughts, our situations. So we begin to slowly get detached from them, and that naturally draws us inwards to connect with something higher, to something superior.
Yes. So, if you talk specifically about the insight that is developing between the asana and pranayama, if you see Patanjali says sthiram sukham asanam, then he says prayatna shaithilyam ananta samapattibhyam. Then he says tato dvandva anabhighatah. So tato dvandva anabhighatah means the pair of opposites that are working on the body, that are working on the mind, they do not affect you anymore. So here, the second level of insight that precisely that I am getting is the forces of dualities that are working on my body is not me. So essentially, the insight is I am not the body. So when a person establishes himself in asana, his body, the forces, the heat, cold, pain, pleasure that are working on the body no longer affect him. His consciousness gets that clear insight that what is happening to the body, whatever that is happening to the body, is not happening to me. So with this, the only thing that the person, feels when the body is not getting affected by anything and becomes utterly stable, then it is the breath only that becomes the hindrance for further calming down. So therefore, he becomes aware of his breath. And then the Shwasa Prashwasa. Shwasa Prashwasa becomes the second hindrance. And naturally, as the person is very calm and relaxed at the bodily level, his breathing also then slowly, slowly, with more and more calmness, more and more expansion, starts getting slower and slower, subtler and subtler, more and more rhythmic, almost coming to a stage of stoppage. That is called as pranayama. So stretching of the breath is known as pranasya ayama. Now, this is the fourth one of the yoga ang anusthana. And consciously also there should be an effort to slow down the breath as much as one can. Gati vicheda. Patanjali is very clear. Pranayama is reducing the speed, slowing as much as possible. But then again, after a few slow breaths, again fast breath will come. Again, with abhyasa, you slow it down, you slow it down, you slow it down. Ultimately, what is happening? By slowing down of the breath, chale vate chale chittam nischale nischalam bhave. By slowing down the breath, by doing this neutral karma, there is purification of the samskaras in the chitta that is happening. Even by doing asana, this was happening. So ultimately, the chitta is becoming more and more pure. And when the chitta reaches a certain threshold, see, in quantum physics, we know that an electron rotates around an orbit. It keeps rotating, keeps rotating, keeps rotating. And if there is a photon or there is an energy that is being pushed into that electron, then it keeps on absorbing that energy. If you heat that, then it will keep on absorbing that heat. And it appears as if nothing is happening for a while. Electron is just rotating, 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 rotating. And suddenly after some time, we see that electron absorbs sufficient amount of energy that allows it to escape that orbit. And the electron does something which is called as a quantum jump. And suddenly it jumps into the next orbit and then start rotating in the next orbit and remains in that orbit and keeps on absorbing energy, keeps on absorbing energy. And you keep on doing sadhana, you keep on doing pranayamas, and you may feel that nothing is going on, but your chitta is getting purified every time. It is absorbing, that sadhana that you are doing and getting more and more pure, more and more pure, more and more pure. Once it reaches a certain threshold, it jumps to the next orbit. Okay. So from pranayam to pratyahar, what is the insight that comes in this way? If we are talking about, ultimately the insight is drishta drishya asamyoga. So what is this insight that comes after pranayam? Anyone? After pranayam and before pratyahar, tatat kshiyate prakash avaranam. Very good. So Patanjali is very clear. See what he is saying? The avarana of the prakasha becomes thin. It means the veil that was covering the prakasha, the darkness that was covering the prakasha is removed. So this is a significant step in getting the insights. Okay. So what is this avarana of prakasha? So fundamentally, Patanjali is telling here that the prakasha, that the pranamaya kosha itself is filled with light, but we are not able to appreciate that light, that glow within us, because we have impurity of our chitta, which is not able to perceive it. So when the prana becomes harmoniously balanced throughout the body, when there is a harmony in the prana, then it has its own light that manifests. And you also become aware of your pranic body. In that light, you can see all the nadis functioning. Whatever emotion that comes, whatever thought that comes, you will see the reverberation happening in different energy centers of your body. Whatever action you do, you will be dynamically be able to see the energy that is moving up and down, right and left, above and below, in all the direction. All the chakras that are pulsating will become perceptible to you. So this particular body is a body that is the Sukshma Sharira, is filled with light. Light is a property of prana. And that avarana of that pranamaya kosha is removed. The more you can slow down and make your breath more and more rhythmic. So the insight that comes here is about the pranic body and how your subtle thinking processes are producing an impact or agitation into your prana. So one becomes aware of the impact that the mind produces on the energy system of the body. How a particular emotion is shrinking my pranic energy, how a particular emotion or a particular thought is able to bring a balance. So the effect, the power that the mind has on the system becomes more and more apparent to the person. And with that insight, person understands that any subtle thing that is happening in my surrounding, in my mind, is bringing pulsations within my pranic body and not allowing me to settle down. Then comes the need of closing down all the sense organs, because he becomes so sensitive. Every small thing around him, he is able to observe the effect that it produces on the prana, the pranic body. And then he understands that if he has to achieve deeper level of stability and calmness, he will have to sit aside and close all these distractions and effects that are giving perturbations into his Sukshma Sharira and make it stabilize. So through Yam Niyam Asan, person stabilizes his Sthul Sharira. Through Pranayam Pratyahar, person stabilizes his Sukshma Sharira. So then, naturally, what person does? Person goes inwards, closes down all the sense organs. His sensitivity doesn't allow him to remain distracted, to remain, flowing, his consciousness flowing out continuously through the senses. It doesn't allow him. Naturally, the person wants to close his eyes, turn inwards, stabilize his Sukshma Sharira, subtle body. And then comes the stage of Pratyahar. Till now, the senses, the prana, the body were always having ahara from outside. That is known as Bahirahar. Prati means the opposite. Opposite of that ahar is Prati ahar. Prati ahara is then that the person also starts getting glimpse of deep satisfaction, peace, joy from within. So it is here that the Annamaya, Pranamaya are getting stabilized. Person is getting more and more effervescence and fragrance of his Vijnana Anandamaya now. And he then, like a honeybee, once tastes the honey, cannot fly anywhere. It has to go inwards. Into that, he starts moving more and more inwards and start merging into that nectar, that honey that he feels that is oozing from the depth of his own being. So he starts eating inside. That is called as prati ahar or pratyahar. My senses always ate outside. When the senses contacted the sense object, my mind became calm. That is how my senses ate so far in my life. Now, for the first time, I was able to eat or get the same calmness of mind when my sense organ touched the object without any object within me, when my mind became calm just by turning my senses inwards. So the sense organs touched the inner being, and through the touch of the sense organ to that inner being, the mind became calm. That is called as pratyahar. So for the first time, the person feels that the peace that he was searching outside, the thing that he was thinking outside that is going to give me lasting peace, lasting sukha, never gave me. But then I found that peace within me. And this peace is so much freedom giving, because I'm not dependent on anybody. I don't have to beg anybody. I don't have to, get money for it. It is always available to me whenever I want. And this piece has a property that it doesn't follow the law of diminishing returns. The more you expose yourself to the external object, with repeated stimulation, the peace that it gives starts reducing. You eat one rasgulla, you feel happy. You eat two, you feel more happy. You eat the third one, you feel miserable. You eat the fourth one, you feel very miserable. But this inner rasgulla, this inner sweet, the more you touch, the more you get, the more you get, the more you want, the more it is available. It is a continuous spiral of joy to greater joy to greater joy to greater joy to greater, unending, infinitely increasing ananda. Within this, once this pratyahara comes, then Krishna says that once person tastes that, then in all his sense pleasures, he only has that much of, he gives that only that much value, that a person who has, small ponds or something would give how much value to those ponds if he has the whole ocean with him, So if you have the whole ocean, ponds are nothing for you. So in the same way, those who turn inwards, they only give that much value to the pleasure that they obtain when the sense organ touch the objects. But those who don't have access to this ocean within themselves, who have not been able to stabilize their sthul sharira or their sukshma sharira, for them these ponds are their life, because otherwise they will starve, they will die thirsty. So therefore, they will die for these ponds. They will kill each other for these ponds, because they are not even aware of the ocean that is there within. So this is the insight, dear friends, that comes after pratyahar. This is the most amazing insight, most transformative insight that comes, that completely changes the path of life. From the consciousness which was always bahir chetana, it becomes pratyak chetanadhigamo antaraya abhavascha. All the antarayas are removed because the chetana has now become a pratyak chetana. So till pratyahara, it was bahiranga yoga. Now it becomes the antaranga yoga. And then when this joy, the fragrance that comes from within, then the person starts the journey of getting deeper insights, the real insight into his true self, which is neither the Sthul Sharira nor the Sukshma Sharira. But then now he is into his Karana Sharira. And in his Karan Sharira, when he gets into the intense, deeper purifications of his Chitta, then he gets deeper and deeper insights through the limbs of Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. So, Tataha Parama Vashyat Indriyanam. And then what happens? What is the effect of Dharana? He becomes a Jitendriya. So people say, I want to become a Jitendriya. I want all the sense organ and mind under my control. Dear friends, it is never going to happen till you find the source of joy, source of peace within you. And if you find it, if you are touching it, it will happen effortlessly to you. So basically, all the Jivatmas have Sukha Pravritti and Dukha Nivritti. The only problem that we have is, the Karana of our Dukkha is, we are searching the Sukha in the Drushya. But our Sukha lies in the Drashta. The Drashta is Satchit Ananda Swarupa. The Drushya is reflection of the Drashta. I remember Swami Premanandji talks about a very beautiful story. He said that once a king had a necklace made up of gold and diamonds, very shining. And one crow, from the window took it up and flew, taking that shining golden necklace. And it sat on a huge coconut tree, and while eating some insect there, it just dropped it, and the necklace was hanging on a leaf, a long leaf of the coconut tree, which was just beside a river, a lake. And when the sun came up, the water became crystal clear, and then the necklace made a shadow into the water, into the river. And because the water was pristine, clean, it appeared, very clearly that the necklace is at the base of the river. There is no doubt. River is flowing and there is a necklace there. So a person, who was walking beside a boat rower who used to be there, saw it, and then he jumped inside the river to take the necklace. He would come out, he would see it. It is shining, glittering like, real gold, real necklace he can see. He jumps, he swims. When he reaches the spot, he is not able to see it anymore. He thinks that it is there under the sand. He moves his hand all around. He's not able to get it. And there, when he tries to see it, he is not able to see it also there. Again, he comes out, allows the sand to settle down. Again, he sees the necklace shining there. From morning till evening, this person keeps jumping into the river, and always he finds only sand in his hand. And he becomes obsessed with it, always going. So once then a sage who walks along the river sees him, very pitiable condition. He's exhausted, but he can't give up that there is necklace there. And his mind, is not able to just imagine that it may not be a real necklace, or it may just be somewhere else. He's not able to get that insight at all. So the saint sees it, then tells him, wait, what are you doing? See, I can see a necklace there. I have jumped thousands of times. I don't know. It is there. When I reach there, I'm not able to get it. So then the saint tells him, look to the opposite side, entirely opposite direction. See, the necklace is there. And you have to climb this tree step by step to catch the necklace you want. And there are steps, 8 steps, 8 ways, 8 in which you have to change your trajectory. You have to learn that skill of climbing. You have to sustain that. It is then that you will get the necklace that you want. So it is in the same way, all of us are like the person who is jumping into the river, thinking that we will sometime get the necklace. But always, all of us, wherever we thought that we are going to get everlasting happiness, everlasting satisfaction, everlasting peace, we always got only sand in our hand. Okay. So it is high time that we take the Yoga Ang Anushtan for Viveka Khyati. So once you get the necklace, once that fellow got the necklace, after that, will he ever even look towards the shadow of that necklace? Or if, once he touches the necklace, he will not, because so then he will become Jitendriya. No? So the way to become Jitendriya is not by fighting through your senses. But Krishna calls such people as, that people who control their senses, but from the mind they keep thinking about it. He says that such people are mudhas. Till you are not able to purify your chitta, I don't think even if you understand it, you will be convinced. No, it will be very difficult. This delusion is very difficult to remove. In psychiatry also, delusional disorders are the most difficult to treat. No antipsychotic works. So probably, the only thing that we should do, if it is not possible, then is at least, try to practice yama, niyamas, asana, pranayama, pratyahara as much as we can. So if you feel that fragrance of bliss within you, you are lucky. If you do not feel, you have to keep purifying your chitta, and there will come a time, when you will get that peace that you wanted within, but you will always get it within only. This is what Patanjali wants to tell here. So we will continue this discussion in the next session. Any questions? Any questions? Any doubts? See how beautifully Patanjali prepares the ground for, ultimately this is sadhana pada, and it is only when we are reaching the 29th sutra that actually the substance of sadhana has come. But before that, with lot of wonderful clarity, Patanjali begins by talking about Kriya Yoga. Tapaswadhyaya Ishwar Pranidhanani Kriya Yoga. Then he says, Klesha Tanu Karnartham Samadhi Bhavanarthascha. Why Kriya Yoga? For Klesha Tanu and Samadhi Bhavana. Then after that, he describes the Kleshas. Then he focuses on Avidya. Then he says that this Avidya is a major reason for Dukkha Parinama. Parinama Dukh, Tapa Dukh, Sanskara Dukh. All the dukkhas he talks about. And then he says that whatever you perceive as Sukha also is ultimately Dukkha only. Then he says that this Dukkha which is not yet come can be prevented by Heyam Dukkham Managatam. Then he says that to do that, there should be abhava of the avidya. Drishta drishya samyoga abhavo avidya tasya hetuhu. And for that abhava, he talks about Viveka Khyati as the only upaya. And for Viveka Khyati to happen, step by step, Patanjali gives Ashtanga Yoga Anushthan. So please contemplate on these thoughts and become aware of where Patanjali is taking you. 7 bhumis and Ashtanga, Yam and Niyam, both serve as bringing stability. So the insight that comes from Yam and Niyam is considered as one insight. And then we are taking asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, and samadhi. So that is how it becomes 7 bhumis. So Gautam had asked, there are 7 bhumis but ashta angas, so how they are related? So this is the answer that I gave him. Okay, so if there are no more questions, then we will end the session here. See you next week. Namaste.